Hi, boys and girls, it's Mrs. Hogan, and in today's science lesson, we're going to be talking about animal classification. Our learning target today is that I can sort and classify animals by their skin coverings and other characteristics. When we classify, we are grouping things together that have similar features, qualities, or characteristics. So the first one classification we're going to talk about is the mammal. A mammal is warm-blooded. It has fur or hair. It has live babies, so they have live babies, and they feed their young milk. So we kind of see a kangaroo, a polar bear, and even a seal that swims in the water is still a mammal. Next is birds. Birds are also warm-blooded. They have feathers, so again, that outer covering. Mammals have fur, birds have feathers. They lay hard-shelled eggs, and some birds do not fly. A lot of times we think all birds fly, but some birds don't fly, like the peacock and the ostrich. Next is the fish. The fish are cold-blooded. So Braden's going to describe what the difference between a cold-blooded animal and a warm-blooded animal is.
Hi guys, the difference between a cold-blooded animal and a warm-blooded animal is warm-blooded animals always have the same body temperature, just like us. We're always at about 98.6 degrees. Whereas cold-blooded animals, their blood temperature changes due to their environment. So the colder the weather, the colder their blood, so it always doesn't stay the same.
Right, so that's why like fish can be in cold water and their blood adapts to the cold water. The fish have scales, they breathe with their gills, and some lay eggs and some have babies. We can see kind of right here a fish that is in some of our classes. I know Mrs. Hogan has one of those betta fish named Rainbow in her class. Reptiles. Reptiles are cold-blooded as well. They have scales or plates. Most lay eggs. Snakes do not have legs. So you see the snake does not have legs, but you can see they're different sizes, right? Like the alligator is huge, and that's a reptile. And then here's an iguana. And I know Mrs. Simpson, for those in my class, know she's a bearded dragon, and that's another kind of reptile. Here is the last one. It's the amphibian. It is also cold-blooded. It has the smooth skin. So remember the abric, instead of scaly skin, it's smooth. It lays jelly-like legs. Babies are called tadpoles. Okay, so we're going to play a little game. I'm going to be using our discovery books for writing from our class, and I'm going to show Mr. Hogan or Braden the front cover, and they're going to tell me what classification the animal is. So I'm going to show Braden this one first. Braden, what is that?
It's a fish.
How do you know it's a fish?
The scales and the gills and the...
Yeah, and where is it at?
Where's what at?
The fish.
Oh, right here.
I mean, where is it? It's in the water.
Oh, the water.
Yeah, that's how we know, because it swims underwater. All right, Mr. Hogan.
That is a reptile.
A reptile. How do you know it's a reptile?
Well, it does not have smooth skin. It has scaly skin, and it has no legs.
It has no legs, so that's how we know a snake is a reptile. What about this one, Braden?
It's a bird.
It's a bird, and how do you know it's a bird?
I can tell by the feathers, the wings, the beak.
Yep, and we know that they lay eggs as well. What about this, Mr. Hogan?
That is a mammal.
A mammal, and how do you know that's a mammal?
Because it has fur.
It has fur. And we also know that bears have live babies because they have those baby cubs that they're pretty protective of. All right, Braden.
It's a reptile.
That is a good guess. At first, I thought it was a reptile because I was thinking, did you think it was a lizard like I did? Because the picture kind of looks like a lizard. But it's actually a salamander. And how we can tell the difference between a salamander and a lizard, even though they kind of look alike, is look at that skin. It's very smooth. So remember, they have really smooth and not scaly skin. What about this one, Mr. Hogan?
That is a bird.
A bird. And what's the first thing you see when you see an owl that you notice that makes it a bird?
That one, I see feathers.
A lot of
and I
feathers.
see wings.
And you see, yep, it's up
I
in the
see a
air.
beak.
Yep, so it has those feathers and you see it up in the air in that picture. Braden, this is Braden's favorite animal.
That's in amphibian?
Oh, that was close though. It's because I thought turtles could be amphibians as well because it looks like their skin is pretty smooth. But they're actually reptiles because remember, it's not just scaly skin, it's also plates, and that's a huge plate it has over its skin. So it is actually a reptile because reptiles and amphibians have a lot of similarities. So I'm going to kind of talk about this one. I was thrown off today by this one when I was looking. So a whale, I was thinking could be a fish, but it's actually a mammal. And then I thought, well, if that's a mammal, then what is the shark? Is the shark a mammal? But that's actually a fish. So the reason why is the whale is warm-blooded, but it feeds its young milk. And the shark is cold-blooded, but it doesn't feed its young. But you know what they both have in common? They both have live births. So remember when I was reading to you about fish, mostly lay eggs, but sometimes have live birth. Well, that's what a shark does. So that's
And
the
shark
first.
has fins.
Oh, yep, and you can kind of see those fins right there, and that's where it's the,
Gills.
and what's on? Didn't you say on top is a blowhole because they have to breathe air?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what about this one? Who was I on?
That is a bird.
It is a bird, but what is different about this bird than most birds?
Well, I know penguins, they don't fly.
They don't fly, so this could also throw someone off because they don't fly, but they do. You can kind of see the feathers, and you can see that. I remember watching a documentary, and they do lay eggs, and they really, the male takes care of the egg. So that is. So this one, Braden.
I don't know what that is.
This is a Komodo dragon. So a Komodo dragon is a reptile, and they're huge. Do you remember when I take you and Mason to the zoo and they had those Komodo dragons? You guys love those.
Oh,
So that, yeah, now you kind of remember. So you can kind of see the scales on there. But you would think, is that a mammal? But no, it's actually a reptile. Okay, what about this one? This one also is tricky. Do you know what?
Well, it looks like it's in water, but I don't know what it is. I've never seen that before.
So this is actually a fish. It's called a stonefish. Doesn't it look like rock? That's a way it protects itself. But it still has gills and still has those fish characteristics and swims underwater. What about this one?
That looks like an amphibian.
It is an amphibian. And one clue that Braden might have cheated on is it says tadpole to frog. And remember, the amphibians' babies are called tadpoles. But you can also see that frogs have smooth skin. Frogs are probably the most famous amphibian that people see most often is the frog.
Well, that has wings, so I guess it's a bird.
Yeah, so bats have wings. So is that a bird, boys and girls? That's what I was thinking that it could be, but actually bats are mammals.
Oh.
And one way you know is, I thought, well, how can it be if they fly? But look at there. Do you see that fur? Birds have fur. And they also, I remember when I was doing my bat book, or mammals, I mean. So it's a mammal, not a bird. Mammals have fur, and they also lay live eggs. And I remember when I was doing, you can see my little pink things that I was doing my writing on that for my sample in our writing class. And so now I remember, yep, they give live babies, so they are mammals. Wow, boys and girls, I hope you were able to play along with us. And I want you to do the activity that is assigned, and you're going to sort the group of animals that are at the bottom, and then you put it with the right classification. I think today's lesson is going to make it, you guys rock on that activity. We'll talk to you later. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.